So light's probably a little bit low. It's dark outside. I pulled it into the barn. Remember me saying I didn't have enough clamps? Well, I went to the store and I got some clamps. I may have went a little bit overboard, but here's where we're at. We got some serious welds going on. The back is mounted. It's all done. I went and bought some bolts that I needed for putting that on, and in addition to the front end, you can actually see some of these poles are bowed, and the reason for that is they were actually used to hold up cage material at one time. So I'm working with a couple different things there. You can see the edge on the back here comes pretty close to the outside. This one's inset a little bit. There's actually about, I'd say it could move 1/8 of an inch to the right. So a little perturbed about that, but it's 1/8 of an inch. It shouldn't hurt much. Yes, I left the pulley on there. That's for other reasons, possibly later. I do want to use the I have to use that so I can use the transmission part here as basically a brake. So if I put it in forward, as long as this pulley is stationary, it won't be able to move forward or backward. And I'm debating two different things. One is drilling a hole through here so I can pin it, basically run a long pin through there so it stops. It'll move a little bit, but not much. Actually, there's already a hole in there. Cool. Or I'm going to run another bolt out here in order to put an actual belt to it. The only problem with that is I'd have to make sure I could tighten the bolt and all that stuff, move it left and right and cut a channel. I don't really want to do that. So for the time being, I'm probably just going to maybe bore this hole out a little bit and use a pin that will stop it. Maybe drill another one here so that the pulley's completely stationary. Having fun, at least. It's an interesting project. It's probably, well, not probably, it is the biggest welding project I've done. I've gone a little overboard on my welds. I'm going all the way around, up and down the sides on this piece. Two reasons. One, practice. I need practice welding large distances or medium distances, whatever you'd consider that. So I welded all the way down the side on the back piece there, and basically made a little cross on the top. Hindsight 2020. Of course, I didn't know what I was doing exactly when I built this part here. I should have ran this all the way out to the length it needed to be instead of having to mate up here. That became a little bit of a task and again required a whole bunch of clamps. But overall it's level. But so this is from this side. You can see I built a little frame for it. And before anybody goes any further, yes, technically I could put a motor on this. As of right now, that is not in the plans. There's a cat attacking frogs over here. There's a cat. He's chilling. Anyway, so that's where we're at, and tomorrow we're going to work on the front end. I've already got it basically planned out for the actual wheel portion, how that's going to mount. This one was kind of wing it a little bit, but the front, I figured out how exactly I'm going to mount that. I do technically have a steering wheel. I'm not going to use that though. Going to have to change some things around a little bit so that I can pull it like a normal wagon. It's just a very, very large wagon. You can see it's on two different pallets. Everything all considered, there's 4 inches of clearance. Of course, not including tire sag, which I don't know what that's going to do yet. I'll find out here in a minute though. So that's where we're at right now. Tomorrow's another day. Alright, it's been a long day. The front provided to be a little more taxing than I expected. One, we got 2 different size tires, so making sure everything was right there. Then we also had the centerpiece. It caused a little bit of problems. I'm still not sure if it's going to work 100% once I flip it over. But I've got the tongue pretty much done. I got to get a bigger bolt here. I've got to get some different bolts here, but I took out the little thin piece of bar that they had and I replaced it with this, which is a 1 1/4 inch square tube, a little bit stronger. And then I've got a 1x2 for the actual tongue. As you can see, I mean, once I'm going to put a hole here and put a pin there so I can take off the tongue that would go to a handle or to the four-wheeler, so I can take that off. So anyway, here's this piece. You've got just like a wagon. This is what I was hoping for. You can see the middle bolt wobbling. Again, it's too small. I've got some more bolts like this, but I would have to drill through the top piece, which I really don't want to do. So I'm going to get some shorter 1/2 inch bolts to solve that problem. But it all works pretty well. Kind of getting a little more excited now. It got to the point today where I was about to give up, but I just kept on it, kept playing with it, kept trying to figure it out. Finally, I was trying to do this with it right side up because I didn't want to flip it over again. But finally I decided, what the hell, flipped it back over upside down, fought with it a little bit more, and this is what we have. I've got center supports to put here so that I can make a shelf. I've got a 32-inch piece to put in the center, so I have another support in the 48-inch section. I've got a couple supports to put on that side so that I can have a shelf on that side. Besides the top piece, all the other supports are going to be 1x. I'm out of 2x that I can use for this project, which is good because basically everything that I wanted to use 2x for is done. Had to actually go about, I don't know, 8 feet more than I wanted to. Most of that's in the rear end and in the front end. But well, I made sure to allow some extra distance here. This one actually needs a new bushing, kind of driving me nuts, but it'll work for the time being. The other thing is, because of the way that I built this in the front, this center piece isn't actually welded on, it's bolted through here. These are welded all the way down here to this other piece, which is bolted to these. Just kind of extra support. I'm hoping I don't need any more. Depends on how much weight I put on this thing. But because of the way that I did this, if something goes wrong, like this bushing right here, if that's wallered out this hole and I can't fix it with a bushing, then I can order a new one of these off of an MTD or a Craftsman or a Troy Built. They all use the same thing, and just keep going from there. I have priced those out there, I want to say $60 or $70, something like that. Priced them out at Lowe's, a couple other places. So if I do want to replace it, I can. None of the components on the front end or the rear end are proprietary. The rear end, though, we've got these bolt holes that are pretty exact for the most part. So I would need to get this type of rear end. This here again is your gear selector. I haven't done this part yet. I'm not real concerned about it, but I'm going to put a plate in here that allows you to select the gear again, which will work as a brake once I pin this. It's been fun. Some parts of it were extremely aggravating, and so hopefully tomorrow I put the top on.